Have you ever wondered if you're building your own kingdom or if you're building God's? Because today's reading shows us two completely different ways to live. One group wanted to make a name for themselves, and another man trusted God, and God made his name great. The question is, which one looks more like us? Let's get into today's reading. Welcome to the Huddle. I'm Ty, and today's reading is Genesis 11, 12, 13, and 14, and 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 24 through 31. So chapter 11, the Tower of Babel, right? There are a ton of people now everywhere. This group that is in the East make a decision and say, hey, you know what? Let's build a grand city. And within that city, they want to make a name for themselves because they want to build a tower all the way up to the heavens, right? They're like, hey, why not? Let's work together and let's make this happen. God sees it and he sees there's a problem with that. He's like, man, the people are united. And with them all speaking one language, there's absolutely nothing they can't do. So what does he go down and do? Separates them, right? Creates different languages. Now nobody can understand anybody. Everybody is confused. And now all people scatter. They are everywhere. Plan done. And then later on in chapter 11, we get into the lineage of Shem. And 9 generations down, we see the birth of Abram. Abram marries Sarai. Also, we talk about Lot, who is the nephew of Abram. And God let us know that Sarai could not have any children. Right? In the midst of all of this, Abram's father decided to take him, Sarai, and his nephew Lot away, left the family, went and settled a new land. And with that, when we move into chapter 12, this is where we see God's calling to Abram. God told him leave everything, right? Leave his relatives, leave his countryside, leave his possessions. He had to go start completely fresh. And he was commanded to go where God showed him. God told him, I'm going to make a great nation out of you, right? He's going to bless him, make him famous, bless anybody who blessed Abram as well. God also told him that he will not only bless them, but he will also curse anyone who showed contempt to Abram. And all of the families on earth will be blessed because of him. Now, good thing Abram was obedient because he left, heading south further into the land of the Canaanites. And during this journey, Abram stopped, pitched a tent, and then he made an altar to God and praised him. We're going to see this a lot, right? Abram was a extremely faithful man. During his travels, there was famine running through the land of Canaan, so Abram was forced to go even more south into the land of Egypt. Now, during this travel, we see something interesting, right? Abram is now a foreigner, and he's nervous. So he turns to his wife and he says, hey, you are beautiful. And when we get to this land, they're going to surely try to murder me because they want to take you from me, right? So we're going to say that you're my sister. And that's what they do. Sure enough, they get into Egypt, and Sarah had to be a baddie, right? Because word of her beauty spread like wildfire, and it made it all the way to Pharaoh. So Pharaoh's like, hey, I want her, right? Bring her to the castle. This is going to be my wife. And he blesses Abram, right? Because he thinks it's her brother. He's like, hey, you know, I'm taking your sister. All the things, right? Cattle, jewelry, food, servants. He gives Abram everything. But in the midst of this, while Sarai is in the castle, the Lord sees this, he's not happy. And he brought famine and plague amongst Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's like, what the heck is going on? He finds out and he goes back to Abram and he's like, hey, why didn't you tell me that this was your wife, right? Like he brought this upon me. And in this time, I think that Abraham had a phenomenal chance to do something. We'll circle back to that. But Pharaoh kicked him out. He told him he had to go. And he sent Abram on his way with all the possessions that he came into the land with. So now we're in chapter 13. Abram is traveling again, and he ends up back in the same place where he made one of his altars at. And he stops there and he does what Abram does, right? Praises God. But during this time, there's some strife and some turmoil building up amongst Lot's herdsmen and Abram's herdsmen. And Abram's like, hey, we need to cut this out, right? We are family. And he turns to Lot, and in his humbleness, he tells Lot, hey, pick your land and you can have it. If you want to go right, I'll go left. If you want to go left, I'll go right. So what does Lot do? He checks out the land. He's looking around. He's like, hey, this land over here is plush. I'm looking at all the vegetation. I can thrive over here. Send me over here. So Abram went the other way where it was a little more barren. But again, right, Abram is trusting God. So during this time, now Abram's in his new land. God comes to him again. He says, hey, look in every direction, right? North, south, east, and west, as far as you can see. It is all yours. And not only is all this land yours and I will bless you, but you're going to have so many descendants that we won't even be able to count them. And they'll be blessed too, right? Because of Abram's obedience. So again, what does Abram do in this new land? He builds an altar, praises God, and is living his life. Now war has broke out amongst several different kings, right? It's 4 different kings fighting 5 different kings, war everywhere. It's going crazy. And the land where Lot is at is conquered. And Lot is taken prisoner. But luckily, one of Lot's men escaped, ran back to Abram. He's like, yo, we got conquered. They took Lot into captive. What are we going to do? Right? Like, Abram, help. Abram takes, let me make sure I got this number right. I believe it's 318 of his trained men. And they go after him, right? And they go get to it. They say they waited at night, split in half, attacked these dudes, ran them, pushed them far, far back. I'm thinking in my head like that this is Sparta thing, like pushing them back. And not only did he get his nephew back, he got all the captives, all of Lot's possessions, and brought them all back. Lot is happy, right? He is saved. When Abram returned, the king of Sodom and the king of Salem came to him, and the king of Salem blessed him, right? He's like, Abraham, thank you. Blessed you for forever to father these lands. He's thankful, right? And the king of Sodom comes to Abram. He's like, hey, you know what? Take everything that you got from the captives, right? Only thing I want back is my people. You can keep all the goods. Abram's like, yo, wait, absolutely not. We will keep what my men consumed, but you can have all of your stuff back. But what I am asking is that you equally divide something, like give my fair share to my allies. Abram didn't want the king to ever be able to say, hey, you know what? This man is rich because of me. Right? He's still trusting God, and he gave back the king of Sodom all of his stuff and his people. Now, to me, there are several things that are interesting over these couple of chapters. And let me not leave out First Chronicles. Again, they're just going through the lineage of people so you can go and have a reminder of who birthed who. But from the Tower of Babel, it's like, man, in all of our gifts and talents and all the power that we have, united as one and everything that we can do, we decided to build a big city and a tower to glorify us. And God is like, absolutely not. Why would we do that in the land that we could have done anything, as opposed to Abram, who was continuously blessed. And everywhere that you see Abram settle, he turned around and he made an altar to God to bless him. And I think that we can see Lot's humility when his nephew came to him wanting to split the land, right? In the midst of that conflict, Abram could have said, yo, I'm big dog, right? I am your uncle. Nephew, fall back, take what I give you, you're good to go. Instead, he told him, hey, we can split it. Let's stop the quarrel, and you can pick whichever side you want to. I think that Abram knew in the back of his head that God had his back, so he wasn't worried. Where Abram did disappoint me at, though, is when they got to Egypt, and he lied, because imagine if he would have just trusted God through this whole thing, the power that he had and the lives that he could have changed if he would have came there to Pharaoh, let Pharaoh know who he was, stood in his purpose. Could he have changed that entire kingdom? Right? Could he have converted or saved more souls and talked to them about God and everything that God was doing in his life? And now Pharaoh's nation is forever changed. Instead, he chose to lie. And I think that for a lot of non-believers, us as believers have this burden of not being perfect, but making sure that our interactions with a non-believer doesn't reinforce their negative beliefs. Meaning, now the Pharaoh's thinking, man, so this Christian man is just a liar. Why do I need to be a Christian too? Look what he did. He came in here, he lied, gave me a freaking plague. I had to get my guy out of here. So now it's almost like he has a bad taste in his mouth for potentially what that relationship with God can look like. And I think that I know I've made that mistake before, right? Claiming that I am a Christian, and then somebody looking at my actions as a non-believer, and they're like, absolutely not. I want no parts of that. And why would they? Because at that time I was being a bad representation of my relationship with God. And I think that Abraham lost a tremendous opportunity to show his as well. But in spite of that, I think that we can all see that even in our disobedience, God will still bless us, because Abraham is extremely blessed. He's like, you can have everything that you want. I'm blessing you, everybody that you come in contact with. anybody who is nice to you, cursing anybody who shows contempt for you, and your descendants will be unlimited, right? And I will continue to bless them as well. So even in his disobedience, he still gained favor from God, which is huge, right? It's for all of us who are sinners. God never turns his back on us. In spite of our bad decisions, our bad actions, we will still be blessed. And I hope that you guys can all find some peace in that. Which leaves us to the final thought for all of us, right? Maybe God isn't asking us to build something bigger, right? Like the Tower of Babel, they want to build this huge city. They want to build the tower to the sky. Like maybe God isn't asking us in present times to do that, but maybe he's asking us just to trust him more. Remember, Abram had no clue where he was going, but he had faith because he knew who he was following. And that is extremely powerful. So I want to leave you with this question. Are you trying to make a name for yourself? Or are you trusting God's timing, allowing him to do his work, and letting him make your life meaningful in his time? Think about that. See you guys tomorrow.
Like and subscribe.